Alright, I'm making this video for a friend who needs some help with learning how to do UVs in Zbrush and how to project an image onto the model. So I loaded up the default dog that comes with Zbrush. It normally has UVs, but I got rid of them. So if I turn this on, you can see there's no UVs. Alright, so first thing you want to do is give it some UVs. So you want to go under Z plugin and you want to go to UV master. And you can keep it symmetrical or not. I don't think that matters. Mainly for what my friend is using, it's much more basic. It's not really a big deal. So I'm just going to say unwrap. Just give it a second. And you can see the model is pretty low polygon. So you want to make sure that the model is not super high polygon or it'll take forever. And then you can check to make sure that it worked. You can just say flatten. And here is the dog splayed out flat. What's nice about this is that it kept majority of the main body area where I'm going to project something, so that's good. If there was an area that the UVs broke up, you can actually paint that out, and I can just show you where that is, but I won't necessarily need to do it. So you go back in here where UV master is, and you click unflatten. We're back to our dog. But like, let's say there was a seam line right across the body here where we want to project. What you would do is you would go under editable control painting, and then you'd click protect, and then just like poly painting, you would paint that area and you would say don't split here, and then you would run the same exact tool again. You'd say unwrap, and it would do it again and try to protect that area from getting broken. I can do another video about that if that's something that you need to know, but this is just a quick video, like I said, to help a friend. Alright, so this thing has UVs now, so if I go down here to the texture that wasn't working before, now you can see that it's working. So I can pick like pretty much anything. Okay, I'm going to pause the video real quick, come back with the texture, and then continue. Alright, so here in Photoshop I just created a quick stupid logo so that I don't have to worry about getting in trouble from grabbing somebody's image off the internet and then somebody getting upset about it and taking the video down. So just made this really quick. This is all you need. I'm going to flatten it. And just save this real quick. Okay, back in Zbrush. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to import that image. Okay, it's imported. Now I'm going to select it. And what I want to do is, now that this is my brush, there's a couple of things that we need to consider here. So if you don't want the black around the image, and I made it black on purpose, you can also make it an alpha. So I can click on alpha, I can say import, and now you can see there it is there too. But you have like a little bit of a transparency on this because of the colors. So all you want to do with this is go into modify. I mean, you can make this separately too in Photoshop, but you can adjust this so that it's no longer an issue, and then it's all opaque. I'm just going to slide this across. There we go. So now it's all white. We should be good to go. So now what you want to do is with whatever brush you've got selected, I think by default, you know, Zbrush has standard brush selected. Let's just make sure. Standard. Yep. Okay. And then you want to go to your stroke type, and you're going to do a drag rectangle. And now that you have your model here, I'm just going to subdivide this once or twice because you need the poly paint to be able to get the texture exported. So now I have a few subdivision levels. I'm going to zoom in on him. And oops, I want to turn alpha on, RGB on, Z add off, and we want to turn the focal shift off. So here we go. So it gave me a little bit of an outline because of this. Maybe just doing this fast in here. So let me see if I can clean that up. So I'm going to pull this, and then I'm going to pull this to kind of reduce, see where I can get away with. Let's hope that works. Okay. And it's still there. Alright, I'm going to go into Photoshop and make 2 of these. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm in Photoshop and I'm just taking this now and I'm taking the white bleed all the way through. So I still have the other one saved, so I've just got this one in here. And this will make it so that even if it grabs pixels on the edge, it won't create a black outline since it's all matching. Okay, I'm back in ZBrush. Now I'm just going to select that one. So now we have this and we have this. And I'm going to drag this on here. And you can see that it's pixelated, right? So it's using still vertex colors. It's not using the UVs. It's using the vertices of the model. So what you want to do is make sure that you have enough vertices to make it not pixely. So that's still kind of pixely. So I'm going to subdivide this again. Alright, and then let's drag another one. Alright, so that's one way to do it like this, and that looks pretty crisp. And right now, the way I just did this, you don't even need UVs. If this is just what you want, you want to export this out into a program, you're good to go. But if you don't want to use the super high polygon model and you want to use the low polygon model, you do need a texture map to add to the model in the rendering package that you're going into. And that's why we use the UVs. So this is one way to make the logo. Let me show you another way. So from here, you can just change the drag type to drag dot. So now this one is going to drag it on there. Let me get rid of lazy mouse on there. I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller. So what's cool about this one is you can kind of place it. It's a little wonky in terms of like its orientation, so you kind of need to start in the right direction. But if you really wanted it to go in a specific spot and size, you could adjust your brush size and then move in the direction you want the up space to be. So I'm going to drag up. Now see how that's kind of in the right way? So then I can, push it around, get it where I want it, and then let go. And there it is. So let's say this is good enough now. So you have 2 different ways of doing that. This is good enough. So now what you want to do is make this a texture. So now under texture, you're going to say new from Polypaint under the Create tab. Now you'll see our old UVs that we had done where it splayed them all out. There it is. You can see it. It's on there. And it did project over here a little bit. So if you want to fix that, that's easy to fix. You would just go back to drag dots. You'd make your brush a little bit smaller. We would go with no texture. And then we would pick white, and we would just paint that out. Let me see, turn the texture off. Alright. So that fixes that. And then what we'll do here is new from Polypaint. Looks the exact same, but it got rid of the thing on the other side. Ooh, it made it pixely this time. I guess. Oh, so here's a good thing to look at. So right now the texture is really low resolution, so this is bad. So we don't want that. We want it to be crisp like this. So under UV map, you want to make sure that this is big enough. So I'm going to set this to 4096. You could probably try 2048 or whatever. You can even go up to 8192. I think that's maybe a little overkill for this demo, but depending on what you need this for, real easy. Just click this and then say new from Polypaint. Give it a minute and bang, there you go. Now that's still a little pixely, so just because of the way I did the UVs, they are splaying across an entire area, so this is a small zone for them to take on. So depending on the application, this is just a quick and dirty UV thing, so I'm going to go all the way up to 8192 and create from Polypaint. And this should be way sufficient enough. There we go. So that looks pretty good. It's nice and crisp from this distance. Alright, so now that we have our texture map, what I'm going to do is just say clone texture. Now you'll see it's over here. Now depending on what other program you go into, you're going to need to flip this. So I have a flip button next to it here in my user interface, but if you want to flip that texture, you want to go under texture and then flip vertically. ZBrush, for whatever reason, likes to use opposite vertical to, like 0 to 1 or 0 to -1 in the UV space. ZBrush likes to be opposite everybody else. So anyway, you got to flip it, and then you can just export it and save it whatever you want, and you're good to go. And this is doing a JPEG. I should have done a PSD, but whatever, I don't care. So here I am in Photoshop, just showing you that the texture has been exported. Obviously it's stretching and wonky looking here just because it's stretched across the UVs. But you could take this into any other program and then it will load on the model no problem. Now back in ZBrush, I'll show you what I mean. So you see how we have texture on. Now we're using the texture, not the polypaint data. So if I come in here and I go from subdivision level 6 down to 1, now you can see it's very low poly, but the sharpness of the texture is still present. So this is perfect for getting it into another program, and I'll show you that real quick too. So when you're going to export this, you want to make sure that under the export options that you want to have merge UVs turned on, and you want to have texture turned on. I tend to turn polygroups off because it will break them up into separate models. But those are the two that you want turned on. We're going to export. All right, now I'm in Blender. I'm going to go File, Import, OBJ. All right, here's our dog. Now every program's different, so I don't need to get into all of the details there. I'm going to pause the video real quick, get the texture on this, and we'll be done. All right, as you can see, I have the material on here with the texture, and it's good to go. If I click in here, you can see under base color, I have dog JPG. That's what I exported out, and there it is. So now you can use it in any other program that you want, and you're good to go to render or whatever. You could also have done a similar thing with Keyshot. You actually didn't even need to do this in Keyshot. You could have just brought the high poly into Keyshot, but if you needed the flexibility of a lower polygon model, this would work in Keyshot as well. Hope this helps.